All right, so let's talk about the coaching.
He'd never tell you.
The coaching situation,
No.
John, because this is fascinating, I think, to a lot of us. We had heard that there were going to be changes. We all sort of assumed the way it was looking that Jay was going to be able to stay, and then eventually they announced that. Then you kind of hear some weird rumors, rumblings, and maybe some guys, interviewing on their own. Of course, that happened with our special teams guy. But no changes. I assumed there would be some defensive changes, and really, fair or unfair, I thought Minuski might be given the old hee-ho. It looks like at this point, he's going to be here, right? Because all the big guys.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far yet.
No?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't say.
Then.
I think they're still waiting for guys and doing it. I mean, it was. So I'm not assuming anything at this point. Until a guy like Greg Williams is signed by the Jets, then he's still out there. And how many other guys beyond that, I don't know. But
why such a passive way of doing it? Why not aggressively go after guys?
I mean, maybe they are. They're not sharing a lot of what they're going to do, and so you're kind of having to go, find out in roundabout ways. And it sounds like there was interest in Todd Bowles,
right.
And but he's not here. And it does sound like there's interest in Greg. I haven't been told there isn't, but until he's signed, he's still out there. So I don't know, like by aggressive, I mean, if they're contacted and talking to them, I'm assuming that is what you need to do. But it's an odd thing because you do have a guy under contract, and you're kind of looking to see if you can find a better person for that job while this guy is under contract, which is, I don't know. I think that's an odd way to do things. I would think if you don't find someone who's better, what message is that sending, to players that's like, well, we're bringing this guy back. You know what I mean? I find
that's a bad look for everybody.
Yeah, I just find that it's a hard look because, do you have the full power now? Because now players know that, well, they were actually looking for someone better than you. The reality is they do that with a lot of players too, but
right.
So as far as how aggressive, we'll find out. I mean, I know, sounds like the Joe Woods, the guy from Denver, is looking here, or a couple other teams. So, we'll see. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens if Greg Williams doesn't go to the Jets. So I still think, I don't know what changes there will be in the end run, but I know that I don't believe that anything is settled just yet.
I feel like we're the last team, like all the other teams that are going to make major coordinator changes or head coach changes, obviously, that those have occurred. We're the only one that's sort of in this limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful.
Well, here's the other thing too.
Well, the Dolphins haven't hired a coach, and the Bengals haven't.
Okay, but at least
hired a
they're
and
looking.
There's still teams that are obviously competing in the playoffs. But there's still teams competing in the playoffs. The other thing you have to keep in mind too is how attractive is this job?
No, it's terrible.
To another coordinator, and that's not a knock. It's not even a knock on the Redskins per se, as much as it is a situation, because you have a head coach going into his 6th year,
right,
who there were some questions about him at the end of the year. So if you don't win next year, what do you think's going to happen? Now, I mean, I would have thought, so, and then then it's like, well, okay, who's the quarterback? And even though you're a defensive coordinator that's not on your side of the ball, it does affect your job. And you don't know who that person is too. So I think it's a harder sell than it has been in a while for those reasons. So I think that's going to be a sticking point for anybody as well. I mean, it would be for me if I were in that spot, unless you just come here and thinking, well, this is my best shot, or you look at this group and say, well, even if it doesn't work, I know I can do something with this group because look at the defensive line, and so you're going to there's certain things you can sell, but I think it's a harder sell because of the situation.